Imagine a place where the chaos of your mind fades away and you find yourself fully at peace, where every step you take is guided by a force greater than your fears and doubts. Today, we explore how allowing ourselves to be led to those still waters unlocks clarity, purpose, and profound peace in the journey of life. Finding peace in the midst of life's storms, isn't that what we all desperately seek? Life will throw challenges at you without warning. Sometimes the winds howl so fiercely that you wonder if the storm will ever end. But what if I told you the key to peace is not in escaping the storm, but in learning how to stand still right in the middle of it? Yes, you heard me correctly. True peace does not come from avoiding trouble, but from the ability to remain calm and centered, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. You see, most people spend their lives running from problems, from pain, from uncertainty. But peace isn't found on the run. Peace is found when you stop, when you allow your mind and your spirit to be still. In those moments of stillness, you open the door to a higher guidance, a wisdom that's beyond the noise of your fears and doubts. It's like being led beside still waters, quiet, calm, untroubled. When you learn to listen in that stillness, you begin to understand that the storm isn't the enemy. The storm is the test, the lesson, the path to a deeper strength within you. Now you might ask, how do I find this stillness, especially when life feels so chaotic? The answer begins with surrender, letting go of the need to control every situation and trusting that there is a greater plan at work. This doesn't mean giving up. It means standing firm in faith, in hope, and in patience. It means calming the noise inside your mind so that clarity can emerge. It means creating space within yourself where peace can grow, even when everything else around you is shaking. This is not a passive peace, it's an active choice, a decision to trust the process of life, no matter how confusing or painful it may seem. When you allow yourself to be led beside these still waters, you're stepping into a place of renewal. Your strength is restored. Your perspective shifts. Suddenly, the storm loses its power over you. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances, but a master of your inner world. Imagine for a moment what life would be like if you could carry that peace with you every day. If the noise of the world no longer rattled your soul. If no matter what happened, you knew you could find rest, clarity, and confidence deep within. This is possible, but it requires intentionality. It requires commitment to pause, to reflect, and to listen. But here's where most people stumble. They don't know how to recognize the voice that calls them to stillness. They get distracted by temporary fixes, quick answers, or loud distractions. The real question is, are you willing to quiet the chaos and listen? Are you ready to stop chasing peace and start allowing peace to lead you? If you are, then you're on the threshold of a powerful transformation. But peace in the storm is just the beginning. What happens when you align your steps with a greater purpose? How do you trust the invisible path that leads beyond fear? That's the next step in our journey together. Stay with me because what comes next will reveal how stillness is only the gateway to a life lived with intention and unstoppable courage. The power of stillness. Have you ever stopped to consider just how powerful it truly is? In a world that never slows down, where distractions are endless and noise constantly fills every corner of your life, stillness might seem like a luxury. But what if I told you that stillness is not just a moment of pause, it is the foundation of every great breakthrough, every moment of clarity, and every step towards your true purpose? Stillness is the place where your mind can finally catch up with your heart. It's where your soul speaks loudest, not in shouts, but in whispers. When you cultivate stillness, you create a space free from chaos, free from the demands that pull you in every direction. And in that space, something incredible happens. you begin to see clearly what was hidden in the rush. Think about it. How often do you rush into decisions, overwhelmed by pressure and urgency? How often do you find yourself reacting instead of responding? Stillness gives you the power to shift from reaction to response. It's the difference between being tossed by the waves and choosing your course with intention. When you allow yourself to be still, you become the calm in the storm, the center of your own universe. But stillness is more than just quiet moment. It's an active engagement, a deliberate stepping back from the noise so you can listen deeply. When you practice stillness, you're not escaping reality, you're stepping into a higher level of awareness. You begin to notice what's really important, what needs your energy, and what can be released. Stillness helps you cut through the clutter, the confusion, the fears that cloud your judgment. Imagine, if you will, the power that comes when you are able to slow down your mind, slow down your emotions, and truly connect with the voice inside that knows your next best step. That power isn't just calming, it's transformative. It leads to breakthroughs in how you think, how you lead, and how you live. Now here's the challenge. How do you find stillness in a world that seems designed to steal your attention? It starts with intention. It starts with a choice. Will you allow yourself moments of silence? Will you create space for reflection, even when everything demands your speed? Stillness isn't found by accident. It's cultivated with practice, with discipline, and with courage. And when you learn to embrace stillness, something else happens. You become more attuned to the guidance that leads you beyond your fears, beyond your doubts. You begin to align your actions with a purpose that's greater than momentary comfort or quick fixes. This alignment is what brings true peace and direction to your life. So as you sit with this thought, ask yourself, are you ready to embrace the power of stillness? Are you ready to quiet the noise so clarity can rise? Because when you do, you'll unlock the secret to aligning your steps with a purpose that propels you forward with confidence and courage. But there's more to this journey. The stillness is only the start. How do you trust the invisible path that unfolds before you, especially when the future feels uncertain? How do you walk with confidence when you can't see what lies ahead? That question will lead us to the next step in this conversation. Stay tuned, because what comes next will reveal the keys to trusting what you cannot yet see and moving forward anyway. Aligning your steps with divine purpose. Have you ever stopped to wonder what it means to truly walk in alignment with your life's calling? Many of us wander through life, taking steps without direction, hoping that somehow the path will become clear. But what if clarity doesn't come by chance? What if it comes by design, by intentionally aligning every step you take with a purpose greater than yourself? Purpose is not some distant, abstract idea. Purpose is the very compass that guides your journey. When your steps are aligned with that compass, every move you make has meaning, power, and momentum. It's not about rushing toward a goal blindly. It's about moving forward with confidence, knowing that each step is leading you exactly where you're meant to be. But here's the truth. Aligning your steps requires awareness. It requires you to be honest about where you are and where you want to go. It demands that you look within and ask, am I walking in the direction that brings out my greatest potential? Am I stepping into what I was created to do, or am I being pulled by distractions and false promise? When you align your steps with your purpose, you become a force to be reckoned with. The energy that once scattered in many directions focuses into one powerful stream. Challenges don't disappear, but your ability to face them strength. Fear still knocks on your door, but your commitment to your path is louder. This alignment turns obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. Now I want you to think about your own life. Are your steps aligned with a purpose that lights you up from the inside? Or are you simply going through the motions, hoping that the pieces will somehow fit together? Purpose demands clarity. It calls for courage to say no to what doesn't serve your vision and yes to what fuels your growth. And here's something important. Purpose isn't something you find once and forget. It's a daily commitment. Every decision, every action either brings you closer to alignment or pulls you further away. That's why stillness, which we talked about before, is so crucial. In the quiet moments, You hear the call of purpose, and your steps begin to line up accordingly. But what happens when the path ahead is invisible, when the way forward is hidden in uncertainty? How do you trust the direction you're being led to when you can't see the entire road? That's where trust in the unseen takes over. It's where you learn to step boldly, even when the destination is not yet clear. And this leads us to a vital question. How do you build that trust? How do you walk confidently on an invisible path? That's the next part of our journey. We'll explore how to trust beyond what your eyes can see and move forward with unstoppable faith and courage. Stay with me, because what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew about trusting the journey. Trusting the invisible path to inner calm. Isn't that one of the greatest challenges we face? How often do you find yourself hesitating because you can't see what's ahead? The human mind craves certainty, clarity, and control, but life rarely hands those to us on a silver platter. Instead, it asks us to walk forward into the unknown, to trust what we cannot yet see. So how do you learn to trust the invisible path, especially when fear tries to convince you to stop, to turn back, or to settle for less? Trusting the invisible is not about ignoring reality. It's about believing in a truth beyond what your eyes can perceive. It's about holding on to a vision, a feeling, a sense of direction, even when the road is shrouded in fog. This kind of trust requires courage, the courage to take the next step, even when you don't know where it will lead. It's a leap, yes, but it's a leap grounded in the confidence that you are being led by something greater than your doubts. Now consider this. How many times have you faced moments where the path seemed unclear, yet when you took a step forward, the way opened up? That's the power of trust in action. It's not about having all the answers before you begin. It's about having faith in your ability to navigate, to adjust, and to grow with each step. This trust fuels inner calm because it shifts your focus from fear of the unknown to anticipation of growth. But building that trust doesn't happen overnight. It is cultivated through experience, through repeated acts of stepping out, even when you're unsure. It's strengthened by reflection, by remembering the times you've been led safely before, and it's nourished by stillness, the quiet moments where you listen, without distraction, to that inner voice that knows the way. Imagine the freedom that comes when you can let go of the need to control every outcome, when you stop trying to force things to happen on your timeline, and instead flow with the rhythm of the unseen. That freedom brings a peace that no external circumstance can shake. It's the peace of knowing you are exactly where you need to be, even if the destination isn't clear yet. So ask yourself, what would change in your life if you truly trusted the invisible path beneath your feet? What fears would lose their grip? What possibilities would open up? Trust is the bridge that connects where you are to where you are meant to go. But here's the crucial question. How do you cultivate that trust when the doubts and distractions are loud? How do you keep walking step after step when the path seems hidden? The answer lies deeper than simple faith. It's about awakening to a voice that will never mislead you, a guidance so sure it transforms your entire journey. And that leads us to the next step, embracing the quiet moments for true clarity. Because trust alone is not enough if you don't learn to hear the direction clearly. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how to tune into that inner guidance and walk boldly with certainty, even in the darkest time. Awakening to the voice that guides beyond fear. Have you ever noticed how fear can drown out everything else? Fear is loud. It shouts, it screams, it paralyzes. It convinces you that the safest thing to do is to stay where you are, to avoid risk, to settle for comfort. But deep inside there is another voice, a voice that speaks softly, calmly, with unwavering confidence. This is the voice of courage, wisdom, and purpose. The question is, will you awaken to it? Will you learn to listen to that guiding voice that moves you beyond fear? Fear wants you to believe that you're alone in this journey, that the risks are too great, and the unknown too dangerous. But that guiding voice whispers a different truth. It reminds you that fear is not the enemy, but a signal that something important is about to happen, that you're on the edge of growth, that courage is ready to rise inside you. The challenge is, can you hear that voice over the noise of fear? Awakening to this voice requires intention. It means creating space for silence in your life, so that you can distinguish the quiet voice from the loud emotions. It means being willing to face your fears head on, to name them, and then choose to act anyway. Because the voice that guides beyond fear doesn't eliminate fear, it teaches you to move forward in spite of it. Imagine for a moment, what if you could respond to fear not with retreat, but with boldness? What if every time doubt crept in, you remembered that calm, confident voice inside you, urging you onward? This awakening changes everything. It transforms fear from a barrier into a doorway to growth, to possibility, to the life you were meant to live. But how do you train yourself to recognize this voice? How do you separate it from the distractions, the anxieties, the chatter of your mind? It starts with stillness, the kind of stillness we spoke about earlier. In those moments of calm, you begin to hear the subtle whispers of intuition, the stirrings of hope, the call of your true self. And once you awaken to this voice, your decisions become clearer, your steps more confident, your path more certain. You begin to lead from a place of peace, not panic. You move with purpose, not hesitation. This voice becomes your compass, your anchor, your strength in turbulent times. So I ask you now, are you ready to awaken to that voice inside you? Are you willing to listen, even when fear tries to drown it out? Because when you do, you unlock a power that no obstacle can stop, no doubt can shake, and no fear can silence. But this awakening is just the beginning. What happens next when you fully embrace the quiet moments that bring true clarity? How do you use that clarity to shape your life, your decisions, your future? That is the next step in our journey. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how to transform silence into strength and clarity into unstoppable action. Embracing the quiet moments for true clarity. How often do we rush through life, desperate to get to the next thing, the next achievement, the next breakthrough? In our pursuit of progress, we forget one crucial truth. Clarity doesn't come from speed. Clarity comes from stillness, from pausing long enough to hear the whispers of insight that only silence can reveal. But are you willing to slow down enough to embrace these quiet moments? Are you prepared to let go of the need to always be moving, so you can truly see what your next steps should be? The world rewards hustle, noise, and constant activity, but the greatest leaders, the most effective decision makers, understand the power of stepping back. They know that in the quiet spaces between chaos, answers are waiting. When you embrace the quiet moments, you create a space where confusion begins to clear, where the fog of doubt lifts, and your vision sharp. This is the moment when you can separate what is urgent from what is important, when you can realign your priorities with your deepest values and your highest purpose. Think about it. How many times have you made decisions under pressure, only to realize later that a little more reflection would have saved you from unnecessary mistakes? When you embrace quiet, you give your mind room to breathe, to analyze, to connect the dots that were hidden in the noise. This kind of clarity is not accidental. It's cultivated intentionally through moments of stillness, reflection, and deep listening. But here's the challenge. Quiet moments can feel uncomfortable. They can make us face truths we'd rather avoid. They demand vulnerability, honesty, and patience. So many people distract themselves to avoid silence because they fear what they might find. Yet it's in these moments of courage, when you face the quiet, that clarity is born. It's here that you recognize the patterns, understand the lessons, and gain insight that propels you forward with confidence. Imagine the impact on your life if you could consistently tap into this clarity. How would your decisions change? How would your relationships, your work, your dreams shift? Clarity brings focus. It removes hesitation. It empowers you to act decisively, not recklessly, but with purpose. And once you embrace these quiet moments, you start to notice something else. Your intuition grows stronger. Your ability to discern what really matters deepens. This quiet becomes your secret weapon, your compass in the whirlwind of life. You don't just react to circumstances, you respond with wisdom. So I ask you now, are you ready to stop running from quiet and begin embracing it? Are you prepared to create space for true clarity in your life? Because when you do, you'll unlock a new level of understanding and power. But clarity is only the foundation. What happens when you combine that clarity with the courage to surrender control? How do you let go and allow something greater to guide you to places you've never imagined? That's the next part of our journey together. Stay with me because what's coming next will reveal the secret to surrendering control and discovering true peace in the process. Surrendering control to experience greater peace. Have you ever noticed how tightly we cling to control, as if holding on with all our might will keep everything safe and predictable? We try to control our circumstances, our relationships, even our own emotions, thinking that this will shield us from disappointment, pain, or failure. But here's the paradox. When you hold on too tightly, you actually block the very peace you're searching for. What if the secret to true peace isn't in control, but in surrender? Surrender doesn't mean giving up or giving in. It's not about weakness or defeat. Real surrender is an act of strength, a conscious choice to release the illusion that you can control every outcome. It's the courage to say, I don't have all the answers, and that's okay. When you surrender, you stop fighting against the current of life, and instead, you begin to flow with it. This flow brings a deep calm that no amount of effort or planning can produce. Think about a time when you tried to force something to happen, only to realize later that your efforts were exhausting and unproductive. How much energy did you waste resisting what was beyond your control? Now imagine what would happen if you released that tension, if you chose to trust the process and allow life to unfold in its own time. Surrender opens the door to unexpected opportunities, solutions, and peace that you could never engineer on your own. Surrender is also a surrender of your inner battles, the fear, the doubt, the need to prove yourself. When you let go of the constant internal struggle, you create space for peace to take root. This peace isn't passive or fleeting. It's a profound stillness that remains even when challenges arise. It's the calm at the center of the storm, the quiet confidence that whatever happens, you will be okay. But surrender is not always easy. Our minds resist losing control because control feels safe. Yet control is often just a mask for fear. The more you surrender, the more you discover that peace grows when you loosen your grip on outcomes and expectations. You learn to trust the timing of your life, the unfolding of your journey, and the strength within you to navigate whatever comes. Ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped trying to control every detail of your life? What would change if you allowed peace to lead instead of your anxiety or stress? How would your relationships, your work, and your dreams transform? Surrender is the gateway to a freedom that feels like nothing else. And here's the next step. Once you surrender control and invite peace in, how do you keep that peace alive in the face of ongoing challenges? How do you maintain that calm presence when life pushes back? This brings us to the next stage of our journey, the discovery of how the journey to rest is where purpose meets peace. Stay with me because what comes next will reveal how resting in purpose transforms surrender into unstoppable strength. Have you ever felt exhausted by the relentless pace of life, like you're running a race that never ends, chasing goals, deadlines, expectations, and yet the finish line keeps moving further away? We are taught to believe that rest is something we earn after the work is done. But what if rest is actually the starting point? What if true rest is not a reward, but a vital part of walking in your purpose with peace? Rest isn't just about physical relaxation. It's a profound state where your mind, body, and spirit find harmony. It's where the noise quiets, the pressure fades, and clarity emerges. When purpose meets rest, something extraordinary happens. You stop striving in desperation and start moving with intention. This is where your energy is renewed, your vision is sharpened, and your actions become powerful because they flow from a place of peace, not stress. Think about it. How many times have you tried to push through exhaustion, thinking that if you just work harder, things will get better? Yet without rest, your efforts can become scattered, your decisions clouded, and your passion drained. But when you intentionally rest, you reconnect with your true purpose. You tap into a deeper well of strength and creativity that fuels your journey rather than drains. Rest is not a sign of weakness, It's a strategy for success. It's a sacred pause that allows your inner wisdom to speak louder than the chaos around you. In rest, you find the space to reflect on where you've been, where you are, and where you want to go. This reflection is crucial because purpose without peace is unstable, but purpose resting in peace becomes unstoppable. Now, here's the challenge. How do you find rest in a world that prizes busyness? How do you cultivate moments of stillness when distractions are endless and demands never stop? It begins with choice, choosing to protect your time, to say no to what doesn't serve you, and to create rhythms in your life that honor both your work and your well-being. Imagine the impact on your life if rest became a regular part of your journey, not just an occasional luxury. How would your mindset change? How would your relationships improve? How would your capacity to lead and create evolve? Rest is the foundation where your purpose is not just pursued, but lived fully and joyfully. So I ask you now, are you ready to embrace rest as a vital part of your path? Are you willing to slow down to recharge and to realign with your deepest calling? Because when you do, you unlock a power that transforms your entire life. But rest is only part of the equation. What comes when you couple rest with relentless action, when peace fuels your passion and purpose propels your efforts? That's the next revelation we will explore. Stay with me because what's coming next will show you how to move forward with unstoppable momentum, grounded in the power of rest and purpose combined. Moving forward with unstoppable momentum, have you ever felt stuck, like you're on the edge of something great, but something just won't let you move? It's frustrating, isn't it? You have the vision, the purpose, even the clarity, but the energy to take that next step seems elusive. What if I told you that momentum is not just about speed, but about consistency? It's the compound effect of small intentional actions taken day after day that propels you forward with unstoppable force. Momentum starts when you decide to move, even if it's just one step. It's easy to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling. But the truth is, momentum builds through action, through the courage to begin, to continue, and to push past resistance. Every small effort counts. Every choice to keep going adds fuel to the fire. Momentum transforms hesitation into confidence, doubt into determination. But here's the catch. Momentum isn't just about doing more. It's about doing what matters. It's about focusing your energy on the actions that align with your purpose and your peace. When your actions are driven by clarity and fueled by rest, momentum becomes sustainable. It doesn't burn you out, it energizes you. It turns obstacles into stepping stones, setbacks into comebacks. Imagine the power of this momentum. How different would your life be if you could harness? How would your goals shift if you weren't constantly starting over but continuously building? Momentum creates a rhythm, a flow where progress becomes natural and excitement grows with every achievement. This rhythm is the secret weapon of those who succeed where others falter. But momentum also requires patience. It demands that you trust the process, even when results aren't immediate. Sometimes the hardest part is staying the course, staying faithful to your path when the finish line seems invisible. Yet it's in these moments that momentum does its quiet work, building strength behind the scenes, preparing you for breakthroughs that will change everything. So I ask you, are you ready to commit to consistent, purposeful action? Are you willing to embrace the daily steps that create unstoppable momentum? Because once you do, you'll find that the journey becomes not just bearable, but exhilarating. And as momentum carries you forward, there's one final truth to remember. Momentum is most powerful when it shifts. When you lead others, when you inspire and uplift, your momentum multiplies. Together the energy grows, the impact deepens, and the journey becomes greater than any one person. This brings us to the final revelation, how to lead beside still waters, inspiring others to find their own peace and purpose. Stay with me because the next part will show you how leadership born from peace is the ultimate legacy. Leading beside still waters. Have you ever thought about what it truly means to lead? Not just to manage or to command, but to lead in a way that brings calm, confidence, and clarity to those around you. Real leadership is not about being in front, pushing hard, or forcing outcome. It's about standing beside others in the quiet strength of presence, guiding them towards stillness in the midst of chaos. It's about creating an environment where peace leads and purpose follows naturally. When you lead beside still waters, you become a beacon of calm in a world full of noise and confusion. People look to you not because you have all the answers, but because you embody a peaceful certainty that reassures and inspires. Your leadership becomes less about control and more about influence, less about demands and more about invitation. You show others that peace is not weakness, but the foundation of true power. Think about the impact you could have if you led from this place, where your own inner stillness sets the tone for your team, your family, your community. When you are grounded, your clarity becomes contagious. Your confidence breeds courage in others. Your calm dissolves fear and opens doors to creativity and innovation. This is leadership that transforms not just tasks, but lives. But leading beside still waters isn't easy. It requires you to first cultivate that peace within yourself. You must be willing to face your own storms and find calm in the center. You must learn to listen deeply to your own intuition and to the needs of those you lead. This kind of leadership demands humility, patience, and a commitment to serve rather than to be served. Imagine a world where more leaders chose this path, where decisions are made from a place of peace, not pressure, where relationships are built on trust and understanding, not fear and control. Imagine how different workplaces, homes, and communities would be if peace was the priority and purpose was the guiding light. Now here's the challenge for you. Are you ready to step into this kind of leadership? Are you prepared to stand beside others, offering strength through your own stillness? Because this is where your greatest influence begins, not by shouting louder, but by holding steady, by being the calm in the storm. As you embrace this leadership, remember your legacy is not the position you hold or the tasks you complete, but the peace you inspire and the purpose you ignite in others. Lead with stillness, lead with purpose, and watch as your impact grows beyond measure. So as we close today, I want you to carry this truth with you. Life's greatest power comes not from control, but from surrender. Not from noise, but from stillness. And the most enduring leadership flows when peace and purpose walk hand in hand. Walk beside the still waters, and let your life become the reflection of calm strength the world so desperately needs.